Here, students study traditional dancing at the Flamenco School in Puerto de Santa Maria, in the southern Spanish province of Andalusia, where flamenco was born. Flamenco is the music of Spanish gypsies, as well as the songs of the Jews and the Arab Moors who were expelled from Spain in 1492. Adding Latin American forms like tango and rumba to the traditional soleas and bulerías, the flamenco repertoire eventually grew to include more than 60 types of song and dance. Flamenco's deeply passionate, often tragic character gives it a universal appeal not unlike that of the blues. As with the blues, the guitar was first used strictly as an accompaniment to the singing and dancing, emerging only recently as a solo instrument. Manuel Delgado, a guitarist and teacher, is at home in both worlds, the world of flamenco and the world of jazz.
Flamenco consists of two families. On one side, we have all the festero forms, which include all the styles of festivities, and on the other side, we have the styles formerly known as cante jondo. This includes, in my opinion, not a sad aspect, but a very profound and painful one. This kind of flamenco music transmits a lot of pain. La Seguidilla is an example of it. It's a style which includes a lot of melancholy, and it's very slow. There's no sadness, but a lot of profoundness, feelings, and pain. Pain because the Andalusians are people who suffer, and one should not forget this.
Although the ancestral gypsy religion is Hinduism, the Gitanos embraced a syncretic version of Catholicism and organized their own festivities around Christian ceremonies. One form of flamenco song, the saeta, is performed in honor of the statues of the Virgin Mary, carried on floats in the annual Semana Santa, or Holy Week processions.
In my opinion, the improvisation in the flamenco is fundamentally based on the rhythm. That means the rhythm permits us to... The pleasure of the rhythmic variety gives us the impression of improvisation. For example, when I play bulería, I'll remain in the same chord now, and I'll try to make rhythmic varieties which occur to me at this moment. Probably I won't be able to play them ever again, or I'd play it in another way. For example. If I should try to play it again, I'd have difficulties realizing it the same way, or I'd play something else. For example, and if I begin to play it again, I'll always play different things. The thing is that improvisation includes the pleasure of communication. It's very difficult to improvise on your own.
Around 1910, flamenco began to be presented in theaters, gradually leading to its commercialization. But flamenco is still a way of life in Andalusia, where spontaneous performances can be heard at places like this Gitano Café in Jerez de la Frontera. In 1960, jazz trumpeter Miles Davis and arranger Gil Evans produced their classic album, Sketches of Spain. Incorporating flamenco and other Spanish themes into a jazz context, Sketches of Spain was a landmark of flamenco jazz fusion.
The first musicians in this country who mixed flamenco with jazz were, as I remember, the saxophonist Pedro Iturralde, who recorded several LPs, and Paco de Algeciras, today known as Paco de Lucia. Well, I think they've mixed flamenco and jazz a little bit. In those days, it was only a bit of a mix. First of all, you heard the flamenco, and then the jazz. The two styles weren't really fused. Later, in my opinion, Paco de Lucia revolutionized the flamenco completely, and he gave it a new dimension. He composed his team of Spanish musicians like Carles Benavent, Jorge Pardo, Ruan Danta, and they made this famous LP, Solo Quiero Caminar. This LP, I think, opened an important door for flamenco to other styles of music. Como corre la lluvia, como
Paco de Lucia won fame in the 70s as an accompanist to Camarón de la Isla, the greatest modern flamenco singer, who died in 1992 at the age of 41. Together, the two revitalized flamenco, combining breathtaking virtuosity and heart-rending emotion with the willingness to explore new forms and arrangements. In 1980, Paco de Lucia recorded the classic album Friday Night in San Francisco with fusion guitarists Al Di Meola and John McLaughlin.
One technique for playing the guitar rhythmically is the so-called rajeo, which is played with 4 fingers on one side. Then we have another kind of rajeo with a different rhythm. This is called the rajeo de abanico. You play it with only 2 fingers. Then within the rhythm we have a lot of things, a lot of different sounds. We have a lot of possibilities for the right hand. Another technique we have is called athapua. Athapua permits us to play like this. It's something which distinguishes flamenco considerably from classical technique. It's typical of flamenco. It also allows the sliding of the 4-finger. This is also typical of flamenco. Then we have all the arpeggio techniques. The different kinds of arpeggios permit us to play a lot of things. Finally, the melody. Well, I think that's all the possibilities for the guitar.
Em breve voltaremos com nossa programação no Film and Arts.